At its peak, the Ottoman Empire touched 3 continents. However, nothing is eternal, and the shining beacon of Muslim power soon met its end at the hands of its own people. Hello, and welcome to our channel. Today, we're going to talk about the last caliphate of the Ottoman Empire. One of history's most powerful and long-lasting dynasties was the Ottoman Empire. For more than 600 years, this Islamic-led powerhouse dominated significant swaths of the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and North Africa. The Sultan, the highest-ranking official, was granted complete control over the spiritual and political lives of his people, despite the fact that widespread fear they inspired in Western Europe. The Ottoman Empire is now seen by many historians as a driving force behind significant advances in the fields of art, science, religion, and culture. A Turkish tribal leader named Osman I established the Ottoman Empire in Anatolia in the year 1299. The Arabic form of Osman's name is Uthman, from which the English word Ottoman is derived. During the reigns of Osman I, Orhan, Murad I, and Bayezid I, the Ottoman Turks established a centralized administration and rapidly extended the territory. The capital city of the Byzantine Empire, Constantinople, was conquered by Mehmed II the Conqueror and the Ottoman Turks in 1453. The Byzantine Empire's thousand-year rule came to an end with this event. After being chosen as the new capital of the Ottoman Empire, Sultan Mehmed dubbed the city Istanbul. The city of Istanbul rose to become a major economic and cultural hub for the entire world. But as they say, to every rise, there is a fall. And by the 1800s, the time had come for the Ottomans. The Ottoman government spent the entire 1800s doing everything it could to stop the empire from collapsing. From Mehmed II onward, and especially during the reigns of Abdülhamid and Abdülaziz, the administration prioritized restructuring the empire. Reforms known as Tanzimat, reorganization, tried to remake the Ottoman Empire in a liberal, European fashion. As secular ideas began to influence laws and governmental procedures, Islam, and religion in general, took a back place in public life. The downfall of the empire continued despite these changes. If anything, the growing recognition of Ottoman subjects' non-Islamic identities has bolstered the nationalist ambitions of the empire's many subjects, causing internal strife. Serbia, Greece, Wallachia, Moldova, Abkhazia, Bulgaria, and Algeria were all Ottoman provinces that fell to European expansion or nationalist movements during the Tanzimat era. When Abdülhamid considered his options, he chose to take a completely new tack. His Muslim subjects became the majority when the empire lost European territory in the years leading up to and during his reign. Christians made up a sizable percentage of the Ottoman population throughout much of its history, reaching as high as 80% at one point. On the other hand, the Ottoman Empire lost Christian-majority countries in Europe while receiving a net influx of Muslims throughout the 1800s. Abdülhamid, who had a Muslim majority in his realm, emphasized Islam as the primary unifying force. Throughout Europe in the 1800s, strong nationalist movements emerged. For peoples who shared a common language and culture, ideologies such as Pan-Slavism and Pan-Germanism emerged as unifying forces. There was always a wide variety of cultures within the Ottoman Empire. The empire included a wide variety of people, including Turks, Arabs, Albanians, Bosnians, Kurds, Armenians, and others. Abdülhamid sought to use Pan-Islamism as a unifying ideology for Muslims everywhere, both within and outside the borders of the Ottoman Empire. Abdülhamid emphasized visits to Mecca and Medina as a means of demonstrating his status as the leader of the Muslims. Hospitals, barracks, and other infrastructures were constructed in the Hajjis in the 1800s to accommodate the annual Hajj pilgrimage of Muslims to Mecca. There was a modern water system installed during the renovations of the Kaaba and the surrounding Masjid al-Haram, which greatly reduced the frequency and severity of floods. The construction of the Hajjis Railway was initiated by Abdülhamid in the year 1900. The journey started in Istanbul and continued all the way across Syria, Palestine, and the Arabian Desert before arriving at Medina. The railway was built to facilitate pilgrimage and improve communication between the holy locations and the political power in Istanbul. Abdülhamid chose a narrower gauge, width of the rails, for the Hajiz Railway than was typical in Europe, as a symbol of his commitment to the safety of the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. He did this so that European imperialists, in the event that Istanbul fell to them, couldn't use European railroads to quickly and easily conquer Mecca and Medina. Several secondary, primary, and military schools were built across the empire, and he also established 18 professional institutions within Turkey. Darülfünun is totally known as the University of Istanbul, and it was founded in 1900. Transportation infrastructure, including railways and telegraphs, was also improved, and the Ministry of Justice was restructured. However, in 1908, the Young Turks staged a violent revolt in response to widespread discontent with Abdülhamid's autocratic leadership and European engagement in the Balkans. As Abdülhamid was ousted by a short-lived reactionary rebellion in April 1909, his brother Mehmed V was declared Sultan. Mehmed was a good guy who had studied traditional Islamic topics and Persian literature, and who had shown an interest in Ottoman and Islamic history. But he lacked the skills necessary to lead. To play at being a constitutional monarch, he gave up power to the Young Turk movement's Liberal Nationalist Committee of Unity and Development. The commission recommended that the Sultan visit Thrace and Albania, so he did, 1911. However, the Ottomans lost nearly all of their European lands in the two Balkan Wars of 1912 through 1913, and they also lost Tripoli to Italy in the conflict of 1911-1912. Even though Mehmed was against it, the Ottoman Empire sided with Germany and Austria-Hungary and proclaimed holy war, calling on all Muslims to assist the Ottoman cause, particularly those living under the control of the Allies. By the time Mehmed died, the majority of the empire had already fallen to the Allies, and by the time the dust settled, 6 months later, Constantinople was under military occupation. The combat between the Ottoman Empire and the Allies came to an end on October 31, 1918, yet neither stability nor peace was brought to the area. British, French, and Greek soldiers were poised to march across the Bulgarian border and seize Ottoman Thrace and Constantinople because they were in control of Syria, Palestine, and Mesopotamia, Iraq, as well as Ottoman Syria. Sultan Mehmed VI was concerned about being overthrown, but the Allies were aware that he was only a symbolic leader, and they believed that keeping him on would promote peace after the war. We desperately needed stability. In the days prior to the ceasefire, the Young Turk administration under Enver Pasha had fallen in order to find safety in Germany. Enver Cemal Pasha and Talat Pasha all left the country. Civil infrastructure began to fall apart throughout what was left of the empire, which had already been severely taxed by years of conflict. Many regions saw a complete breakdown of law and order. Many deserters turned to banditry and roamed the countryside as simmering racial and religious tensions exploded in violence. With the goal of annexing sizable portions of Anatolia, the Allies advanced on Constantinople. The plan they were putting together also included the parameters of the peace agreement they were preparing, but their pretext was the restoration of order. The Ottoman state would not even fully encircle Anatolia after the war. It was obvious. Most Turks, whose homeland was Anatolia, were terrified by the thought. The interim Ottoman government's ability to thwart the Allies in November 1919 seemed limited. Under Mustafa Kemal's direction, the remnants of the two Ottoman armies that had been obliterated by the final British attack in Palestine and Syria were slowly coming together in Cilicia, north of Aleppo. Ottoman 6th Army in Mesopotamia regrouped north of Mosul and awaited orders. The army was damaged, but still intact. General Fakiri Pasha and his beleaguered garrison at Medina persevered under siege in Arabia, far away after resolutely repelling Arab assaults for more than 2 years. Not until February 1919 would Fakiri actually give up. Only the forces Enver had dispatched to invade northern Persia and the Caucasus were Ottoman armies deserving of the moniker. To return to Anatolia and dissolve would take them at least 6 months. At this time, a nationalist movement was on the rise in Turkey. This movement was led by Kemal Ataturk. Soon, revolts broke out, and in a meeting in Ankara, Ataturk was elected as president. The last sultan, Mehmed V, had to flee Istanbul as the title of Sultan was revoked and Turkey became a republic. Today, the Ottoman Empire continues to be a subject of fascination and debate. Some see it as a model of Islamic civilization and a source of inspiration for Muslim nations, while others criticize its authoritarianism, militarism, and imperial ambitions. Whatever one's view, the Ottoman Empire remains a compelling chapter in the history of the world, and its story is far from over. Its rise, glory, and fall continue to captivate people's imagination, and the legacy of the empire still shapes the modern world. So, that is all the time we had today, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel, and do hit the bell icon on your way out. See you all next time.